From the hardest district to the easiest district, this is the best way to 3-star Dragon's Cliff in just 2 attacks on any base layout. This army consists of using super miners, frost spells, and heal spells, typically containing anywhere around 9 super miners with either 2 frost spells or 1 frost and 1 heal. Other troops that you can take, such as super barbarians or battle rams, are usually used to expand the placement map. You can also bring in a jump spell to do the same thing if need be. Or you can just take a zap spell, as there might not be any reason to expand the placement map and you can use it to practically stun defenses or dragons. This is pretty much the setup that you're going to be using on most bases. For example, the most common type of setup that you'll see is using the default layout. You can easily take advantage of this though, especially in your first attack. This is typically using the super barbarians to expand the placement map, making it easier for you to place in your super miners. Now, when it comes to your frost spells, you are using 2 of them. One of them should be used over the blast bow, other defenses, and a dragon, while your second one should be used over a dragon and other defenses, specifically if you can get any of the splash ones like the super wizard tower. From there, you can spam in your super miners from the right side of the base. As they move around, they're going to move in a group, which allow them to clear buildings and defenses. Of course, you've got a jump spell that you can use to open up the placement map, and I would only really recommend this on the first attack, because for the most part, you're going to be able to open the placement map pretty much for the rest of the attack afterwards. So other than that, the frost spells are great for a strategy like this, mostly because the super miners can out DPS other defenses within a short amount of time. And this also includes the super dragons. They get so slowed down that they practically can't do anything, or they can't really even keep up with the super miners, making it a perfect combo at the very start. Of course, you should try to take advantage of the super miners when they die, because towards the end of your attack, you will have them start to lose HP, and they'll be able to clear buildings with ease thanks to their death, and this could take out buildings that you probably didn't expect. This can get you a lot more percentage, and your second attack is practically just clean. Now, your first attack should get you anywhere between 40 and 60%, which basically means it's going to be an easy 3-star from here in your second attack. So typically you could use super barbarians to expand the placement map, but if not, you don't really need to do this. What I would recommend doing though is using a frost spell right over a dragon. Typically I'd recommend the one where you have the rocks surrounding it. This then allows you to spam in your super miners from the right side of the base while having the super barbarians or the battle rams to distract the dragons. So that way they're not going for your super miners at the early moments. So this is going to then allow you to just allow your super miners to not take too much damage, not get targeted, but also it allows you to lure over any dragons into that frost spell, making them incredibly slow. This is where you then also have the heal spell. The heal spell can be used to top off your super miners as they go through the back end part of the base. Especially if there is a dragon involved, you can refresh all of that damage from the dragons or from defenses that were hitting them. So this just allows you to keep them alive and keep as many as you can. Other than that, you're going to be able to clear this base so unbelievably fast with this strategy that it will give you time to subscribe and ring the bell for more quality content like this. Outside of that though, what about custom layouts that compose more of a challenge? Now, custom layouts are a bit less common, but they can still trip you up. For instance, on this base, you have a lot more of a compact feel, with the super dragons being paired a bit more closely together with splash buildings, making it a relatively difficult way to get through without using heal. But with double frost, you can easily get through with this. In your first attack, you should expand the placement map by using the super barbarians and the battle rams. This is going to allow you to then use your frost spells over the dragons. Typically, I'd recommend trying to get multiple of them, not just one dragon post, but try to get 2 of them if you can, if they're within range, however. Other than that, you just want to make sure that you're placing it in the direction that you're sending in your super miners and where the super dragons will then start targeting your super miners. That way you can keep them within that frost spell for a longer period of time. As you spam them in, you typically want to go into an area that you have the most control over. This will allow you to then get yourself a lot more percentage in this way. Of course, your super miners are going to take a lot of damage against compact bases, so you want to make sure that you're getting the most out of it, especially from their death bomb. So even if you only get around 40%, that's completely fine, because you can then take advantage of this in your second attack with the frost spells. Now, typically, your first attack should set up good control and good pathing for the super miners. This then also allows you to use a frost spell over something such as a blast bow and a dragon. This can be incredibly good, so you can expand the placement map if need be, and then you can spam in your super miners. Since this second phase only uses one frost spell, taking advantage of using your other frost spells to slow down units is incredibly nice. This also allows you to clear out the key defense, the blast bow, as you continue to work yourself around. And this basically works well against any custom layout, as it is going to be the same exact thing. Even if you don't get the blast bow on your first attack, other than this, your heal spell is going to be used towards the back end. This is going to top off your super miners from taking any damage from defenses or even the super dragons. You're just going to kind of let them continue to work yourself around. While they're kind of working themselves around, it's a great time to support a creator. So using my creator code CorruptYT, is a great way to support me in everything that I'm doing here on the channel, so you can see more quality content like this. While the super miners are kind of just working themselves through, they are easily clearing down buildings and defenses without breaking a sweat. Even without the dragons underneath a frost spell, they can more than easily get through, and with their death damage, they can easily and more quickly get through buildings. And even if some of them die towards the end of the attack, you really won't need to worry, because you have the super miners that can clear the rest of the base for an easy 3-star. Now, the maze layouts are honestly one of the easiest, since usually they are on the left side of the base only and can pretty much give you a wider range to attack from. This is where you can expand the placement map with those super barbarians, since usually a lot of those trash buildings are on the right side. This then also allows you to drop in your frost spells. Using them over defenses and dragons is incredibly important. Even if you unfortunately lure over some of the dragons with your super barbarians, you'll be completely fine. You'll still be able to get a relatively good amount of that area gone without really having to worry. And even if your super miners do take damage from them, they're still gonna be able to get through a large portion thanks to the frost spells. They're going into the frost spells, which means the super dragons are gonna get slowed by them. You should try to go in for as many of those key defenses. Even if the blast bow remains up, you are still completely fine, because you have a frost spell over it. It's not going to be attacking all too often. Other than that, allowing yourself to use the frost spells to slow those dragons down really helps you exponentially, as it allows your super miners to kind of work themselves around, and even if they split, they should still be able to get a large percentage, as this allows you to set up your second attack so well against this district. And using 2 frost spells helps you in that regard. Basically, your second attack can practically be done by just using 2 different spells for a very simple 3-star. This is why it is an incredibly strong attack on the first half to be paired with the frost spells. The first attack basically cuts down the base so much so to where you can use a giant at a far corner to lure the super dragons that do not have posts. This then allows you to use a frost spell over 2 dragons that are somewhat close together, especially on a compact base, but this allows you to then spam in your super miners. I would typically recommend using a relatively early heal spell, as it will allow you to continue to move through, and any of the defenses that are doing pretty significant damage is going to basically get reset thanks to that heal spell. So taking advantage of the pre-existing frost spells in slowing down splash buildings and using that heal spell to top off the super miners towards the back end of the base, it can actually help you quite a bit, as it allows you to practically have enough time. This is why I will always recommend 2 frost spells at the beginning and then using 1 frost and 1 heal at the end. This is the clear-cut way to beat any base that is a design for Dragon's Cliff, and this will allow you to 3-star almost every single time quite easily in just 2 attacks.